Tired of serving up the same old tasteless victuals to your family? Step up your grill game with new seasonings from Coy's Southern Eats. Based off famous Southern recipes, our seasonings will add what's been missing to your family's feast. Add it to steak, chicken, shrimp, you name it. Serving up these fixings is going to make you the hero at home. So head on over to coyssoutherneats.com and order yours today. Come get you some.
And everybody, welcome to the Razorback Diamond Report with Dudley Dawson. I'm your host, Jason Patterson. I want to thank our sponsor, Coy Southern Eats, for all of their dedication they give us. Make sure to pick up any of their great seasonings online at coyssoutherneats.com, also at Walmart and Amazon.com. Make sure to go and pick up all their seasonings for your tailgates, your barbecues, and go re-experience the magic of Coy Southern Eats. Come get you some. You know, Dudley, I was watching that intro, and I realized I need to get that thing changed up a little bit because we got women's Razorback basketball coming around the corner starting Tuesday night at 7 p.m.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Obviously, they've been at it for a while when you throw in the 10 practices during the summer and the Europe trip. I think 25 different practices, after in the fall and now ready to go. And we'll look forward to watching them play a very interesting Louisiana Monroe team. I've been doing some research on them today. 10 new players on their roster, 8 of which are first-year people that she has brought in. A new coach, Bilderback, has brought in. And, obviously a little excitement here on Tuesday night when they'll get it going. And then Friday morning, of course, the screaming game at 10:30 with Murray State when I'm told they're expecting 7,000 kids, which will be a record. That doesn't count the adults now, just 7,000 elementary school kids on Friday. So that should be quite the environment, and I'll have the ibuprofen ready for after the game.
I was going to say, are they going to call that the Excedrin game by chance? That was
like that. Yeah, it could be sponsored by one of them for sure.
So I want to go a little heavy. I texted you about it before the show. I want to go a little heavy today on women's basketball. I know last week we didn't have a show. There really wasn't much going on, and now we've got game week.
Yeah,
and Tuesday night,
we should have press conferences this week or early next week on both baseball and softball. So our at least in a couple of weeks, so we should have some more info on that. They're doing conditioning and stuff like that, but it won't be long before they'll be headed home for Thanksgiving. And really, they're away for a while, from the field for that. And then it'll be coming quick right
It will be. And so when the Razorbacks take the court Tuesday night, what kind of starting lineup is it going to look like for Mike Neighbors?
Well, he's either going to go with his smalls, as he was calling them the other day, with the 3 guards, with Michaela Daniels, Samara Spencer, and the young freshman, Talia Scott, or he'll insert, a big in there, or a lengthy forward, maybe like Sasha Goforth. I'm sure Miriam Dowd is going to be in there, and obviously Sailor Poffenberger as well. But they have so many different options. He's talked about, sort of like hockey line changes and being able to bring kids in. It's going to be interesting to see how he does with that. They've all talked a good game about how they're not going to have to play 40 minutes, and they all are looking forward to sharing time. We'll see how it all gets going with, this first challenge. And again, I want to point out that ULM has 2 former Auburn starters, a former Clemson starter, and a girl who was their leading scorer last year who played at Kansas for 3 years and is 6'5". So this is not your normal team. Certainly not the one he signed up for to open the season, coming off a 7-23 season a year ago. With 2 of their 3, they played Arkansas State 3 times, lost 2 of those to Arkansas State. So, but it's a different team this year.
And I'm sure both teams are going to be pretty rested up too, just with the we fell back, we got an extra hour of sleep tonight, and Louisiana Monroe, they'll be traveling. Is that Tuesday? They'll be traveling in, or they'll be coming in tomorrow.
I think they're coming in tomorrow on the bus flight. But it's what's interesting. I used to use that extra hour to get out and have some fun. Now I make sure and use that extra hour to get some sleep. I think I got close to between 10 and 12 hours last night when you throw in that extra hour. I wanted to be up for the 8:30 NFL game from Germany this morning, which turned out to be fairly interesting. I've been watching football all day long here. It's not a bad deal. That and obviously Arkansas and Georgia soccer. Arkansas, the SEC conference regular season champions, loses to Georgia 1-0 in the tournament championship today. I think tomorrow at 3:00 is when they'll find out the NCAA parents.
Gotcha. Yeah, Kobe Hale, he's had a great season. And whenever I was listening to radio, heard a couple of stats, and this was the 5th time, if I'm not mistaken, that Arkansas has been the regular season champion in soccer.
Something like that. I'm not for sure of the number, but obviously they've come a long way in a lot of women's sports. They've made some great hires, obviously with Coach Dykle with softball, Coach Neighbors, Coach Hale, as you said. They've really, and obviously the other sports as well. They've really, I think that gets overlooked a little bit how well women's sports is doing. Because obviously football's a cash cow, and up until yesterday, it was a very frustrating season. That was certainly a heck of a win. I'm sure you noticed, had a lot to say about that. It was, and I tell you what, the video from there after the game with Kenny Gatton going shirtless and crowd surfing with the players and KJ. I mean, it really shows you what a relief it was for those players to not have Dan Enos around again. And I don't have any bad things to say about Dan Enos personally, other than you can't, go at the fans if they go with you, just a losing proposition. But it clearly it was not well liked by the players. And that is, that came to fruition yesterday. 39 points. You got, 1 touchdown in overtime. But Cam Little did a great job, obviously, getting 4 out of 5 field goals. KJ looked like he was having fun. Again, they all did. And it makes a little bit of difference when Rocket Sanders looks like Rocket Sanders. Only 93 yards the entire year going into that game, 103 yesterday.
Yeah, I was talking with Marty last Thursday, and that was the one thing that he brought up. He said, Rocket hasn't had a 100-game season. More or less, he hasn't had 100 yards all season. And when he put that stat out there, it really made me wonder and think, was one, the injury, that has a lot to do with it, but 2, was he being utilized effectively under the Enos system? Because a guy of his caliber just doesn't rush for 93 yards just because. There's more to it schematically being hurt that goes into that.
Yeah, I do think he was legitimately hurt. There is a fine line, especially these days, not like it was in the old days when you went out and you gave everything for, every day. You got to watch your health and all that. And I know there were some people taking shots at him, but obviously, he worked hard, worked rehab down in Dallas as well. I know people don't get that, but there's much better treatment when you can do it every day in a certain situation. And, that obviously got him back. He looked, there were a couple of cuts yesterday. It looked like the old Rocket there. I mean, he had not had any speed, had not put his foot in the ground any time during the year. I think he had 34 carries for 93 yards going into yesterday. 3 yards for him is not a thing. I mean, everybody kind of forgets what a great year he had last year. He didn't have a good year; he had a great year, over 1,400 yards. Just had phenomenal games. And obviously, if he hadn't got hurt in the bowl game, I'm sure he would have had a great game there as well. But it was fun, I think, for the team. Obviously, fun for the coaches, fun for most of the fans. I will say that there's a certain segment of the fan base, and I don't get it. It's even as much as Dallas has disappointed me over the years. I don't get the mentality of hoping your team loses so they'll fire the coach. Clearly there's a segment of the population that was doing that. Everybody has a right to feel like they want to. I'm not saying your opinion is wrong and mine's right. I just don't understand it. Never had that mentality. It's always been about win to me. Even if it's a fourth grade girls basketball game, I'm keeping score, even if you're not supposed to or not.
Yeah, you keep it score. And I kind of brought this up with Otis too last week and a little bit more this week. Whenever you have a Razorback basketball team faces Purdue, and it's an electric environment the way it was, and then you steamroll that into a Florida win, first time that they've ever won in the Swamp. Now it looks more attainable, not only because the scheme has changed, the offensive production has changed, but the overall outlook of the team. These fans at Arkansas really have something to hold on to again, because 3 more wins. Hugh Freeze is Auburn's not what Auburn usually is. This is one of the years that you really want to jump on them.
They've won 2 conference games in a row, but obviously over Mississippi State, which obviously Arkansas, couldn't beat here at home. Vanderbilt, obviously Hugh Freeze showed he could come in here last year and beat a Sam Pittman-led team, and that was a team that was, pretty doggone good when he was at Liberty. Obviously, Liberty's good again this year, so he left them in good shape. What I would tell you is that I now see the rest of the schedule is winnable. Now, would I bet on it? Absolutely not, because Missouri has played well all year. I got a chance to watch them while I was writing yesterday against Georgia, and they really, gave Georgia, about all they could. They're till late. Eli Drinkwitz has done a great job with that team. You have to give him credit. He's a little goofy sometimes, and I think he leans into that a little bit. But he's also a very good coach. He's shown that at every place he's gone. And Missouri's a very good team. That's certainly not an easy game, or going to be an easy win, anything like that. They'll have to play one of their best games of the season if they're going to be able to beat them. But the thing is, you now have Auburn, Florida International, and Missouri here, to get something accomplished. So there is as our good friend Zach Arns always says, there's a path, to that. Now, can they get down that path? I don't know, but there's a path to a bowl eligibility. And no, that is not the goal you want for this program. That is not the goal you sit after the season. But by God, it's the goal right now for those people over there. It's not only would you have a non-losing season, you want to have a winning season. You want to have 9-10 wins. But you got to make do with what you had. Obviously, hiring Coach Dan Enos was a mistake, and there's no way around it. You couldn't have seen that coming. That hire happened quickly when Kendall Browse, the old offensive coordinator, was looking around, checking out all the other girls. Even while he was married or whatever, if you want to look at it in that type of analogy, and they did that hire real quick. I think if he had to do it over again, he would have made a different situation. Certainly would have liked to have more time to do it. One thing I will say, I got to give Kenny Guyton a lot of credit, for calling the plays that they ran in practice, which apparently was the biggest holdup here. They ran plays in practice that they didn't run in games. They didn't have tempo. You've got to have tempo with KJ. That's just that you got to get him out of the pocket. They did a great job, especially on that first drive, showing we're going to get him out of the pocket. Did Coach Billy Napier's press conference after it. He talked about a lot of different things they did different, but most of all, one of the biggest things was tempo. And he's like every other coach said this year, you just have trouble getting KJ down. And I nearly lost my mind when he did the get off me dude move again yesterday. And he got up and flexed, and I'm sure he said, I lift weights.
Yeah, you felt like he was having fun again. Mm-hmm. That's what you saw most importantly, because he's in a system that he's comfortable with. And I was talking with Otis earlier about this too. The game that we saw yesterday was a game that we saw from last year before that. They took some plays that worked a little bit with Dan, but a lot of the schematics really looked like something that Kendall had drew up before, that Kenny had molded into his own a little bit. And that's where I think that you saw a lot of the gains that Arkansas had yesterday was because, one, the tempo, and two, the scheme, where they were able to put the guys in the right spots that they could fit the best. And that's where I have a lot more hope, like you said, with this path. Even against Missouri, it's still touch and go, because I know that Drink's got a really good team this year. They went down, they battled Georgia pretty well on the road, and it's going to be a tough sledding to get to 6 wins, especially with that last game of the season. But they got to look at Auburn first. But as a fan, you have to be excited about where they're heading, because wins seem to cure a lot of ails these days.
Yeah. Let's be honest about one thing. It is a lot easier to smile when you are being able to run and make plays, out on the perimeter, instead of being a sitting duck in a offense that clearly was designed to make KJ a drop back passer, which he simply has proven he's not. He's a dual threat, mobile quarterback who can run over you if he wants to. He can run around you if he wants to. Again, you said he looked like he was having fun yesterday, and that's a big thing. I mean, it is when you've been over there some this year, obviously, and it has been a depressing group of folks to be around because of the way it went. They weren't even happy when they won the first 2 games, because they didn't think they won them in the manner that they should have. We should have knew something was up then when they couldn't run the ball early on against the first 2 teams. I had a lot of things I thought was going to be good about this team that turned out not to be. Like what they call them, predilections or whatever it is, something like that. That obviously was wrong about that. A lot of people were wrong about that, but I think Otis has been the guy driving the tractor, to use a farm analogy, since that's where I grew up, about Dan Enos. So he did not like that hire from the start. The rest of us were equivocating, saying, hey, you remember 2015 and all this kind of thing. But Otis leaned in, went all in on Dan Enos, and he was right. He's not right on which is the best NBA team of all time, but he was right on Dan Enos.
I'd like to get you guys on here and debate that, because I think that could be a very spirited, very, very spirited conversation.
Well, it's I really love his fanship, for the Lakers, just like mine with the obviously the Celtics, and I got to tell you, it's strange as it says for a Celtics fan to say, I like when the Lakers are winning, because it makes him a lot happier and cooler to be around. Let's just put that. And I'm sure I'm the same way. If this Dallas lead holds up here against Philadelphia, the family around here tonight, including the dogs, are going to be a lot happier because Daddy's going to be a lot happier.
Yeah, I totally understand that too. Yeah, I'm currently following my San Antonio Spurs. And I'm going to tell you, I got to watch a little bit of Wemby this week against Kevin Durant, and that was fun. And you really got to see some of the handles that Wemby has that I didn't think a 7'4" guy could possess. And you saw it overseas, but whenever you translate it to the NBA, sometimes that doesn't really move over. I want to tell you what, it moved over, and especially that second game against the Suns. He got 38 points. Only
Victor definitely showed the potential and why everybody gets all excited. I mean, obviously, he came out and played that first game in the summer league, didn't do very well at all. People were tossing him to the side, saying, "Oh, he's media, he's stupid NBA execs, coaches, all that. They don't know what they're talking about." Well, obviously, as you talk about, if you saw that 38-point performance the other night, you saw a guy that is a little bit taller, Kevin Durant. I'm not telling you he's going to be that type, that kind of player, Hall of Famer and all that. But what I am telling you is he has a lot of the same characteristics. And Kevin Durant, although he wants himself listed at 6'9", is 7 feet tall. That's just a given thing. Everybody knows that. He wants to be listed at 6'9", whatever it is. You do you, Kevin.
Exactly.
But he shut off that repertoire the other night, and it was fun to watch. And San Antonio is going to be fun to watch over the years. Not only do they have him, but they have a lot of other very good young players, and they're going to have a lot of great draft picks. As they keep getting better, and obviously. They're going to be on TV a lot here during his career as things go along.
Yeah, currently they are going to overtime with the Raptors tied at 110. They blew a pretty big lead there in the first half, and
You know how you keep from blowing leads, don't you? You score 155 points like the Celtics did last week.
I was going to say, did you see the guy that got the I think it was on FanDuel or I can't remember which betting site it was, had a $50 parlay, $4 $50 bet that won $50,000 off of that game.
Yeah, I'm excited for those folks. I do not understand betting well enough to be good at it. I only bet when I'm in a casino in Las Vegas and when I can tell exactly what the deal is. I want that team to win. And okay, I'll do, that they'll score this amount of points. All that other stuff, just I can't do. And it's better for a sports writer not to be all up in a gambling thing anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I saw that come across. I saw that come across the TV, and I thought, man, this guy must know something. And they said it was all on pure chance because he had to have known that the Celtics were going to blow out the team that they played, which nobody knows anyway. And so that's where I thought that just completely.
I want to be like that mattress Mac in Houston that can say if Houston doesn't win the title, you all can have free beds or whatever it is.
Yes.
And he obviously was disappointed Houston didn't win it all this year, but he's made so much money with his bets like that and off this promotion and stuff. It must be nice just to have that throwaway money.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's always fun. That's always fun. Well, Dudley, man, I'm going to get you out of here. We'll as Coach Neighbors has his press conferences, we'll throw those up on the channel. I also want to make note, too, that this weekend we eclipsed the 2,000 mark on subscribers to the Hogville.net YouTube live page. Yeah. And that's a pretty big thing.
Yeah, good deal. And while we're talking about that, just in case anybody thinks we're shying away from it, Jersey Wolfenbarger,
yes,
I covered her obviously since 8th grade or whatever. Wish her nothing but the best. It didn't work out here. Coach Neighbors, took full blame for it. They had a 10-year plan for her to be in the WNBA, and it just didn't work out for whatever reason. The talent, he's got a lot more talent than he used to. I'm not so sure that she would have got the playing time that she wanted. That may be a factor in this decision, but her and her family are great, and were great to me over the years. And I whatever happens, and obviously she'll wait until I guess the second semester now to so you can have you won't lose the half semester of eligibility. But wish her well. She's such a great kid, a great young woman now. I guess as these athletes continue to get older.
Yeah.
Did you see that DeAndre Williams, age 27 at Memphis, was denied a 6th or 7th year, whatever it was? And
I saw that.
Nuts, man. I mean.
It was shades of Vince Jackson.
Absolutely.
Because I couldn't believe that guy got a waiver to transfer to East Carolina after he left Arkansas. And I thought, how many more years is this guy going to milk it for? Apparently, DeAndre Williams was really he was trying, and I mean you can't blame a guy for not trying, but at the same time, there's a life expectancy there. So as far as playing time goes. Well, Dudley, I'm going to get you out of here. Start for the second half of this Cowboys game, and you take care. We'll see you next Sunday at 4:30.
Sounds good.
All right, y'all take care.
Tired of serving up the same old tasteless victuals to your family? Step up your grill game with new seasonings from Cloy's Southern Eats. Based off famous Southern recipes, our seasonings will add what's been missing to your family's feast. Add it to steak, chicken, shrimp, you name it. Serving up these fixings is going to make you the hero at home. So head on over to CloysSouthernEats.com and order yours today. Come get you some.